The Romance of the Three Kingdoms series of games has been around longer than... Wait. When did the first game in this series come out? You know, I was actually gonna make a joke here, but this game is older than me. With that being said, hello everyone, my name is Gildart, and this is my first impressions of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake, which is available for PS5, PS4, Switch, and Steam. No Xbox, I guess. You guys are stuck playing Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13. Now, I'm not going to act as if I'm going to be able to tell you if this is a good remake of the 8th entry in the nearly 4-decade-old series. I've never really been a big fan of real-time strategy games, but I am a pretty big fan of the Three Kingdoms, thanks to Dynasty Warriors, another Koei Tecmo game. I did do a couple other videos like this with Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 when it and its expansion came out, but I still have yet to get around to all the other games I've bought over the years. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that although I'm not going into this video to tell you whether or not this is a good entry in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series, or whether it's a faithful remake of the original game on PS2, that mostly because I don't own the original. No, I'm gonna jump into this video and judge whether or not this is a good game for Dynasty Warriors fans. Yep, I know my audience. So yes, if you're a big fan of Romance of the Three Kingdoms games, Nobunaga's Ambition, or RTS in general, you may get something from this still because I'm going to talk about mechanics and that sort of stuff, but I'm also just going to talk about how it compares to the experience of Dynasty Warriors. But before we go too far, I do want to give a special thanks to Koei Tecmo America for providing a review code. As well, I'd appreciate that if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I encourage everyone to comment with their thoughts, and of course, if you'd like to see more of my content, subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, let's take a look at Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake. Now, starting things off on the wrong foot, in my opinion, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake does not have an opening cinematic. This isn't a huge deal, considering I tend to skip these, but it is something I do enjoy watching from time to time. But also, booting up a game for the first time and just being thrown to the main menu is a bit of an odd experience. I did check, and the original does have an opening cinematic, so why couldn't they recreate that with this game's engine? Either way, the first thing I noticed was that you can create your own character, so of course, I had to make me and Chelsea. You know, if I can make my own characters and marriage is an option, I gotta make my real-life waifu. The cosmetic side of the character creator isn't that robust, but it's hard to make something that's as refined as something as Wolong or Rise of the Ronin when your character is just a PNG. You can pick from a list of original portraits or those of famous officers, but I do think it would be cool for future games to have different options for different parts of the portrait. Like it could be the whole body is one option, the weapon that the character is holding, if there's one in the body art, the facial features like age, hair, and facial hair, and helmets, though that last one could just be a hair option, or maybe labeling it as hair doesn't make the most sense. What could we call it?
Cranium accessories.
That's perfect! Oh my god, I can always count on you, Mitch. Once you've chosen your PNG tuber avatar, you can set your stats, abilities, lifespan, personality, my god, you can even set your relationships. Now, I can guarantee I'll be able to marry Chelsea. And Zhurong. Oh, come on, Chelsea would understand.
Hey, don't be making assumptions. Oh, you mean our wife.
See? Anyways, the character creator is surprisingly robust for something like this. There is no limit to the stats either, so you can make yourself as OP as you want. I did try to go for something that seemed normal when compared to other characters. I don't mind making me OP when I want to play as me, but if I'm playing as someone else, I don't want to die by my own hands just because I made myself too strong. Is this what they call self-assured destruction? This is also where I found out there is no English dub. I didn't really expect there to be one, but I was a bit disappointed because this game involves a lot of reading, and it just would have been nice to have these dubbed in my own language. Well, now that I have my characters created, it's time to actually play the game. I decided to do something I don't normally do and start as a free officer to see what that side of the game is like. I do plan on switching it up eventually, but let's just see what this is like first. After getting a rundown of the story thus far, I'm shown a bunch of tutorials. Now you see, this is why I don't play a whole lot of strategy games. I don't want to think. I just want to press the square button. I will be honest though, the mechanics of the game do make a lot of sense when you make your way through the tutorial. Managing your resources, completing requests, inquiring at the different facilities, building relationships with other officers. It's all surprisingly in-depth and logical. I would even go as far as to say that these are the best menus I have ever navigated. And yeah, probably my biggest complaint about Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake is that it's just so many menus. I mean, this is a game, not a restaurant. It does at times feel like a mobile game's layout, especially during the tutorial when it's highlighting the menu options you're supposed to go to. They probably don't feel quite as out of place on PC, which is actually where I'll likely be playing future entries in this series. The first officer I started to become friends with was Lu Dai. When you interact with officers at your home, you have a few different options to build your relationship with. This can be through discussions, gifts, practicing combat, and, well, there's a discuss option and a discussion option. But the latter is more like a debate. When you select Discuss, you just have a scripted conversation with the officer. Gifts can be purchased or given from your inventory. Practice will trigger a duel with the officer. This is more like sparring so you won't accidentally kill your friend. I really like this method of dueling because it's very similar to a deck-building, turn-based JRPG. You have a list of actions and you can use as many as you can within the rules, but you can only draw 2 new actions each turn, so it's actually best if you think about what you're going to draw next. The issue is that the actions mean nothing. I don't even look at what I'm doing, just the number next to it. The reason for this is because how you play is based on 2 ways to win a turn. You either have to have the higher number or play more cards than your opponent. That's it. You can even see your opponent's hand. Now, you can't see what they're going to draw next, but knowing what your opponent has means you use less strategy to decide whether you want to play as many cards you can this turn or save them for the next. You just have to look over to your opponent's hand and go, what's the best play I can make against this, and can I beat them? If the answer is no, can you save some cards for your next draw to win the next turn? That's all you have to think about. I wish these cards had extra abilities, like if your opponent wins this turn, they lose -1 on their score next turn. If you win, you get -1 next turn, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Anyways, let's hope debating is a bit more involved. It's the same fucking thing! Like, I can't believe it's exactly the same. Maybe if you couldn't see your opponent's hand in debates, and if there were different abilities with each move. But no, you're just doing the same win by having more or having the same but bigger. That's it. I think on top of that, maybe being able to bring a team would have given it more depth. For duels, your team could be a one-at-a-time kind of thing, similar to how fighting games handle teams. With debates, it could be even more like a turn-based JRPG experience where you can choose a target on the opposing team before starting a character's turn. Just make it feel a little bit more involved is all I'm saying. Now, once this was over, I tried to tackle more of bringing my town up to the highest stat I could. That meant completing every request I could at the tavern. These requests have short events of your character interacting with the townsfolk and solving their problems. It also involved going around to all of the different facilities and inquiring about rumors until that facility was maxed out. This was kind of taking a while, even though I was really enjoying the story I was building for myself, but I wanted to battle. I really wanted to get into the game so I could talk about whether Musou fans would enjoy it if they've never touched a Romance of the Three Kingdoms title before. So I left my town of Guangling and moved to Xiapi where Sun Jian resided. This helped me to quickly join a force and start working toward that battle. Little did I know that becoming an employed officer only really gave you access to a few more options. I still didn't quite feel ready for a full battle. Like, I needed to build more bonds and really make sure I could take on a fight and have a chance at winning. So I decided to start a new game, this time as Cao Cao, before the Battle of Guandu and Xiapi. I thought this would give me more of a glance at the differences in roles, and my god, do you get more options the higher your rank. As a ruler, you can control everything. I actually really enjoyed playing as Cao Cao, though I still found that I had to do everything I did as a free officer, plus maintain relationships with your officers so that they trust you, your gold and food so you can pay and feed your army and people, public order, city defenses, as well as economic and scientific growth so your clan can prosper. I felt this change really start to challenge my thinking on what I had to do in order to keep moving forward with not only the story, but building my clan. I also found that a lot more events were happening during this campaign. Maybe it had to do with the fact that I was originally playing in the Yellow Turban campaign and now I'm here, but maybe that has something to do with the fact that not only was I a ruler, but I was also a very important person when it comes to the whole story of the Three Kingdoms. These events appear under Tales, which can be accessed by pressing L1. Some Tales have certain requirements before you can activate them, while some Tales will cause others to become inaccessible. These Tales are visual novel-esque events that show how the story progresses. Some Tales are the main plot of the Three Kingdoms, while others are more character-specific. Either way, a lot of these are a great insight to the story, characters, and personalities on display. With Cao Cao, I was finally able to take part in my very first battle, which I thought I couldn't do because when I selected March, I didn't see that it said select the city you wish to march from. So I kept trying to select cities and thought maybe I'm missing something and can't battle until a certain point. I was just too stupid to read in the game that involves reading. This is why I play Dynasty Warriors. So when I finally figured it out, I thought it would be smartest to take on the smallest enemy I could. Once I got into the battle screen, I could already tell I was going to like this more than the combat in 14. In that game, it felt more like I was giving suggestions and had to hope it did what I needed it to. With this game, I feel a lot more in control. You move your characters on a map of hexagonal tiles. This plays a lot more like a tactics-style RPG, so I was ready to jump in. I was very happy with the way that the battles happen and can only imagine how long a larger battle with more units on either side can be. After the battle, the ruler proclaims who deserves the most praise. This will be based on things like how much damage you inflict, how many units you took out, etc, which is very similar to Fire Emblem. That character earns some stat increases. You also get to choose what to do with any captured officers, just like you'd expect from an Empire's title in Dynasty Warriors. Overall, I quite enjoyed the battling and looked forward to my next experience, though I felt it would have to be a while as I needed to employ more officers, cultivate my land, and gather more food and gold, while also building up my troops and city defenses to protect myself from an enemy attack. All this happening while I slowly inch closer to the Battle of Xiapi as Lu Bu and Liu Bei started to quell with each other. At this point, I'm ready to settle down and sink my teeth into the full experience. In the end, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake is an experience I'll be going back to for sure, though the answer to my initial question going into this may not be what I wanted. Will fans of Dynasty Warriors enjoy this enough to start getting into the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series? Well, I think there are some fans that will enjoy this, mostly those who enjoy the Empire's titles. If you want more of what you experience between battles, then this is definitely for you. But if you rather play the vanilla or Extreme Legends entries, or you more enjoy the combat portion of the Empire's titles, you likely won't get as much from this game. This is a very slow experience. That's why it took me so long to put this video out, on top of trying to figure out how to change from the previous PVC mini review style. I played this game for 5 to 6 days before I even had my first battle. duels and debates are so lackluster and happen in the blink of an eye. The game is mostly menu navigation, so if you're hoping for an action-packed experience and aren't used to or don't like RTS and resource management games, you're definitely not going to like this one. The game moves way too slow between battles. It's just a game of watching the numbers go up, and I'm a Musou fan! I like to watch the numbers go up! But if you go in wanting a rich story that you get to control through a game that provides just enough of a challenge at normal difficulty to keep you thinking at every moment and planning out your next move, even down to what you'll do to help you continue your progression, you'll find this game is exactly what you're looking for. I didn't really think that I would have as much fun as I did with this game, but from the very first moment, I could feel the story that I was building for myself with every move was becoming more and more immersive. I could really see myself having fun with a game like this on a live stream or in my own time. I don't think it's something I would dive headfirst into, but I would definitely find this a chill time. So do I think fans of Dynasty Warriors will like this? Not really, but if you like aspects of the Empire's titles and what they add in comparison to the base games, you may want to give this game a try and see if you can maybe find a new favorite to add to your library. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching my first impressions on Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 Remake. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for more. You know what? I kind of have an itch for this now, so what are some other RTS or resource management games I should check out? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to help support this channel and what I do here, you can join the Guild, just like these awesome people that you're seeing on screen right now. You can join their names at the end of every single video for just $1 a month over on Patreon or YouTube memberships. Or you can donate in a one-time fashion and join the volunteer unit over on Coffee. A special shout out to my guild generals Beggy Beg Beg and Loose for supporting this channel at the top tier. There are other rewards in other tiers as well, so check out the links that you see on screen, and I will see you all down in the comments.